Hi, welcome back to Real Auto Reports. I'm Jonathan McGrew, and today we have the 2013 Audi S5 Coupe, and this is the real review and the real video where we go in depth on this car and give you all the details you would want to know. So join us as we take a more in-depth look at this white coupe that is really, really cool. All right, so here we are in the 2013 Audi S5 Coupe. These Audis are a lot of fun to drive, and they're really, really pretty from the outside. You know, everybody who has seen this car out on the street has commented to us that, yes, this is a pretty car, it's pretty cool, and it's pretty fast. So let's take it out on the road and see what this car has to offer for everybody out there who loves to drive. All right, so let's get you some quick facts about this 2013 Audi S5. First thing everybody wants to know is how much does the car cost? And at a base price, we're looking at $52,300 for the S5 Coupe. So that's not bad to get into a 333 horsepower coupe with the optional 6-speed manual or this 7-speed automatic. Now, we are testing a car that actually rounds out at about let's just take a look at the sheets here. $66,895. So this obviously has a lot of packages, including the S5 Prestige package, the driver assistance package that has the adaptive cruise control, and it also has the Napa leather seats, which is a $1,250 upcharge just for the Napa leather. So the S5 Prestige package is going to add about $6,600 to your price tag, and then the adaptive cruise and driver select or drive select with the ability to control the suspension and the way that the car handles the road, that's going to cost you another, like $3,000. So you can see that the price tag does jump when you start to add these options, but it's a pretty cool car, and nobody can doubt that this is a fun car to drive. So we've talked a little bit about the performance. I said 333 horsepower. That is a lot of horsepower in a two-door coupe that really doesn't have a lot of weight associated with it or size. This is a lot smaller than, say, a 650 BMW. Now, it does have less horsepower as well, but it will still, independent tests say somewhere between 4.9 and 5.2 in the 0 to 60 run. We test up here at altitude, so we're at 5280 here in Denver, Colorado, and so we'll probably see closer to that 5.2 second range because we have less oxygen to put through the motor up here. But it is a very quick car. The minute you step on the gas, you get a very nice sound, and you get pushed back in your seat a little bit there. And that's not even in sport mode, where it's really trying to dump down into the lowest gear possible. So some things about the S5. This is the performance car. It is more performance oriented. With that, what you're going to get is some additional exterior design cues that are only available on the S5. You're also going to get this S5 wheel, which has this racing style flat spot here for your knees, so you don't catch yourself when you're out on the track being exuberant with your driving, or spirited with your driving, or passionate. The other thing that you'll find is that you get little touches like on the gear knob here, on the MME system, which is the driver entertainment system. When it starts up, it'll say the S5 on there. Generally, it's a pretty subdued sports package, though. I mean, you're in a sports coupe because you've got these bolstered seats that are very Recaro racing style. But otherwise, this car actually has a very understated nature about it. Much more understated than, say, an M3 or a Mercedes AMG. So we mentioned that you can get this car in a number of options. One of those big option groups is the automatic versus the manual. I've driven both S5 manual and S5 automatic. This particular car we're testing today here on Real Auto Reports is the 7-speed automatic. And this car really does benefit from the ability to put power to the road through this automatic. If you go read like the motor trend tests of the S4, you'll find that the automatic actually seems to put power to the road better than the manual. And a lot of that is because of the amount of technology that is now in these cars, that it can just adapt to the conditions and put that power straight to the road. And that's actually really beneficial for people who like to drive an automatic but still want that sports car feeling. This car does have the flappy paddles here so that you can shift it. It's got drive, it's got sport mode when you pull back one more time, and then of course if you put it in with the paddles, you've got the fully manumatic mode, which allows you to really control the car. And it doesn't like to override you. It's actually really good about letting you do what you want to do. However, it will not let you blow the engine. That's the kind of the safety net of all of these flappy paddle gearbox systems, is that if you try to downshift and the motor just can't do it, the computer's not going to let you, and it really does save you some wear and tear. From a driving perspective, this S5 really has a nice suspension. You're going to notice that you get a lot more road feedback than maybe in the standard A5, which we have also driven here at Real Auto Reports. Oddly enough, both cars were white, like this white S5 we're driving. The A5 was white as well. It's a popular color, I guess. But what you're going to notice is that this suspension is a little rougher. You're going to feel more transferred through the seat and through the steering wheel. The electric steering is superb in these Audis. It's really light when you're at a standstill, and then it tightens up and wakes up nicely when you're out on the highway in the curves. It's actually one of the cars that has a better center feel when you're out on the road at high speed. It doesn't feel twitchy the way that some of the Japanese cars that we've driven feel a little twitchy right in the center feel. These Audis have a great balance with this electric steering. And then the other thing that you're going to notice, especially if you opt for the drive select in the driver assist mode, or option package I should say, the driver select will let you put it in auto, and then that's where it's doing the calibration of the suspension geometry, or you can put it in dynamic. Gives you a lot more feedback, changes the all-wheel drive system and how it reacts. And then of course you have an individual setting which can be customized, comfort, and then back to auto. And it's really easy to switch in and out of. Most people, I assume, will leave it in auto, especially if you're driving around town. This car is it's loaded with technology, I guess is really the point here, and it really does create a nice driving experience. Let's talk a little bit about miles per gallon economy. Everybody wants to know, okay, so if you're buying the base model, you're buying a 52, probably after tax and delivery, somewhere around $55,000 car, and this test car with delivery charge, as I said, is almost $67,000. So you're right up there in like Range Rover Sport territory, like the one we tested earlier this year. So what about economy? Well, this car actually will get a combined EPA estimated of 21 miles to the gallon. So that means you're going to get 18 miles to the gallon in town, and you're going to get 28 miles per gallon out on the highway. And we have to say that is excellent for a car that will propel you 0 to 60 in somewhere around that 5-second range. This thing is a rocket for the price and for the economy that you're going to get out of it. You could still take this car on a road trip and not be bankrupt at the end of it, especially since you're getting almost 38 miles or 30 miles to the gallon. 28 miles to the gallon is excellent for a car that will do well over 120 and will do 0 to 60 in about as much time as it takes me to say wow, So it's a nicely put together package in the S5, especially for those who are driving enthusiasts and like a car that really handles the road well. So some other things that I'd like to point out about the 2013 Audi S5 Coupe here is that you've got this lovely sunroof that tilts. Now, this is another funny thing about these cars, is that it'll tilt, but you get no slide. And it's just like the 650i that we tested, the BMW. These coupes seem to only have this tilt in it, and I'm not really sure why. We really, especially those of us like myself who like convertibles, we love coupes too, but the reason you get this is to open it in the summer and get that air and the sunlight in. So we appreciate the fact that you get a lot of light in through this roof, but kind of boggled by both BMW and Audi in the fact that it only tilts. Now, there might be a good reason for that, but until I figure it out, I can't tell you. However, the other thing I want to point out about this car is the Audi multimedia system and the way that you use it. The knob here right behind the gear shift, actually, when you switch over to the radio, it's actually very intuitive. In fact, I think, and some other German car manufacturing fans, like BMW or Mercedes fans, might take exception to this, but I really do think that Audi has a very simple and intuitive system, probably one of the best that I've used, because it seems to be very linear in its movements. You don't have to joystick around, and like in some other cars that we've tested, you've got more of a mouse feature. And this system seems to allow me to keep my eyes up on the road better, and I really like that. And you don't like to feel like you're struggling with the system. So I think Audi fans and people who are looking at an Audi, take a look at that system, especially if you're going to opt for the upper end MME system where you have all the entertainment and navigation features. See if you agree and if this thing is a lot easier to use than some of the competition. I think it is. All right, so that is the real review of the 2013 Audi S5 Coupe. This is a $66,895 car as tested, base price around $52,000, so you can get into it cheaper. It has a 333 horsepower. Cute that they got all those numbers together, eh? 333 horsepower V6 supercharged motor with direct injection. It'll take you 0 to 60 somewhere around 4.9 to 5.2 seconds based on independent testing. It is a sharp looking car in this S5 package. And if you're looking for a car that doesn't have quite as much performance but still has some good looks like this S5, take a look at its cousin, the A5. We're going to bring you more cars coming up very shortly, so make sure you check back here on Real Auto Reports very, very often. I'm Jonathan McGrew, and we really appreciate you watching. See you down the road.